Joining me live is US election analyst Michelle Solomon. Michelle, good to see you. Let's unpack that from Chris Murphy, who also called Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz dangerously unqualified to lead the Justice Department. What are your thoughts?
Well, it is a very interesting pick. And I think you have to also step back and recognize that Trump has a responsibility to some of his supporters to follow through on promises. And this isn't just a Trump administration work. This would happen with any administration. It might not be as obvious. So Matt Gaetz, very loyal to Trump. Trump is paying back the favor by making him boss of the DOJ while he's been investigated by the DOJ. So it's a very interesting moment. But I think what's important to remember is that, as we've seen with the past Trump administration, he fires relatively easily if he thinks someone isn't up to what's required. There's also the reality that he might not even make it through the Senate hearing. And he does have to pass the Senate hearing. And there's a number of Republicans that aren't so thrilled by him being the choice for Attorney General. If it is a question of whether Trump is trying to scare his opponents into, yes, you're going to be the target of a lot of investigation, I think he's getting the message through very well, whether or not Matt Gaetz actually makes it through ultimately. But it's very interesting because he is, like you said, known as a bit of a rabble-rouser in Congress, not seen as the most smooth character. And I think it's very interesting, too, because not everyone likes him. So the question is, will he be as effective in that role? Trump doesn't seem to care. He likes to pick people he thinks that A, are going to do a good job, but B, are also going to project that image that he wants. And he's creating an image of this new administration as a very shake-up administration. And he's successfully doing. There's a lot of opportunity to pick establishment people for these roles, and he's choosing people who are not establishment. For example, Kristi Noem, someone that, like has been pointed out, she's not necessarily qualified for handling immigration, but she has handled some very interesting similar situations dealing with Mexican drug cartels and Native American reservations in her home state of South Dakota. So it's very interesting to see Trump picking people that, you know, on one side, you could be very critical and say this is not a good choice. This is someone that isn't proven. On the other side, you could say this is a very, very unique opportunity for a grassroots choice to prove themselves. And if not, we know that Trump will cut them loose. There's no concern that he'll keep them in office if they're not doing a job that he likes.
Yeah, former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard also to be National Intelligence Director. She used to be a Democrat, now a Republican. She's copped criticism in the past of being too sympathetic towards Russia, and now has been, well, also in the past has been outspoken in being an opponent of the United States, giving aid to Ukraine in its fight against Putin's invasion. So is that another interesting pick, and is she up to the task in that role?
You know, what's interesting is, regardless of whether you like Tulsi Gabbard, you can say that you can see her integrity very clearly. She's she's very keen on following through on what she believes is right. She doesn't waver on what she believes is right, even if that means changing parties, even if that means losing tons of political support. She's very clear on what she believes is right. So I think she would be a very strong candidate for that role. And again, if she's not, Trump can let her go. But she has an incredibly strong personality. She has a background in the military. She's a great leader. We've seen her in various political situations. She can command the presence of a room. And so in that role, she has an incredible opportunity to carry through on some of the most important elements to the American people right now. There is, of course, the issue that she has been involved in some very controversial situations, like meeting with Syrian President Assad back in 2017, and her views on the Ukraine as well. But she's going to be having to respond to the American people and to the Trump administration on what she does. So she's not a free agent right now. But I think it is very interesting to see, again, this hallmark trait of the picks, that they're all very much free thinkers and grassroots.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see what happens in the confirmation hearings. Michelle, thanks so much for your time this morning. Have a great weekend.